take this chance to apologize to absolutely nobody. It's time!
Welcome back. It's Sunday, November 15th, 2020. This is the Church of MMA podcast. My name is Tabor Cragen.
My name is Mason Knight. This is episode 47, Paul Felder versus Rafael Dos Anjos recap. After that, we jump into some MMA news, and then we talk about UFC 255 coming up this weekend. But Tabor, where do we begin?
With our social media accounts, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you aren't following us already, make sure you do it. We are posting clips of the show, funny memes. We're trying to make you laugh. Hit us up.
Check out our YouTube channel, too, if you're not currently on it right now. We are up to 333 subscribers. We thank you guys. We just checked our analytics. We're up 178 subscribers since less than 28 days ago. So literally doubled the growth of our channel. Yeah. So we want to shout you guys out and just thank you and continue on with the movement, growing the church. You know, this is what this show is all about. This is a MMA podcast for the fans, by the fans. And we love what we do here. So
yes, if you guys aren't commenting, make sure you go leave a comment, hit that like button, hit the notification bell, all that stupid shit YouTubers are supposed to say nowadays.
For sure. And we got something in the works too.
Yeah.
And actually, I think we could probably just bring it up right now. I think you should.
Might as well. It's big.
We're starting to build our merch store as well, too, which you can find a link to that in the description below. We're putting some Church of MMA gear together. We got some funny shirts along with some serious, some logos and whatnot. So go check that out if you got the time. It should be right below.
Absolutely. Let's get into this main event. It was a short notice fight for both men. Paul Felder took this fight on, 5 or 6 days notice?
5-day notice, yep.
Still made 155.
Incredible. Walking around at 180 is what we come to find out.
Yeah, that's still a rough cut. That's a rough cut. Yeah. It just proves the constant professional this man is. Just an absolute beast. One of my favorite fighters. I'm so happy he decided not to retire because, before we even talk about the fight, I think that's what a lot of people were expecting. I don't think anybody was expecting at least Paul Felder to step in, but at the very least, when he did, win or lose, I thought he was going to retire.
Yeah, so did I. I was so ecstatic it was kind of, let's talk about before the fight. Because, man, I'm telling you right now, I literally had goosebumps with Paul Felder walking out. There was something about that walkout that was just so captivating to me. Yeah. You walk out, you see the energy in his eyes, you see the intensity, and he kisses his what I believe to be his father's ashes in the necklace.
Oh, really?
Yeah, dude, it was just it reminded me of like a Rocky Balboa movie, walking out into like a big fight where you don't know if this man's going to retire or not. This could be the last time we ever see Paul Felder walk into the octagon.
Yeah,
so for me, there was so much weight and so much but not like depressing, sad weight, but just so much just intensity about this fight. And you could see it in Paul Felder's face. But man, we'll talk about the performances of both of these guys because I want to take nothing away from RDA. And first and foremost, RDA looked fantastic. Rafael Dos Anjos looked incredible.
Yes.
I mean, the game plan worked to a T. And Rafael, I don't know what the hell the one judge had you losing the fight. I mean, thank God we had 2 competent judges on that.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was watching.
Oh, my God. I don't know what the hell he was watching. And, dude, this is coming from a guy who, I wanted Paul Felder to win just because, dude, Paul Felder's so game, man.
Yes.
He's just ready to go. He is a fighter's fighter, and he is the fighter. The fans love Paul Felder.
Yes, absolutely.
We absolutely love him. But to go back to RDA looked phenomenal. The game plan worked to perfection. I mean, any time. And I know the commentators were bringing it up, but anytime, Paul Felder started backing up, he started getting to that black line, boom, Rafael Dos Anjos would go for the takedown.
Beautifully timed takedowns also. Beautifully timed. It wasn't just throwing a takedown. Anytime he would start to eat shots, he would throw a takedown.
Exactly. And how many times did he successfully take? I mean, there were a lot of great takedown defenses by Paul Felder. There were a lot of times where Rafael was trying to get him down, couldn't get him down. There were plenty of times where Paul Felder was getting to his feet. And I got to tell you, man, on a guy to take a fight on 5 days' notice and to put on a fight like that, to me, that was easily, unquestionably the fight of the night. It was an incredible performance by both of them. I was so impressed impressed with Paul Felder and the way he was able to overcome this adversity of getting taken down so many times when you're not in jiu-jitsu and wrestling shape. I mean, and he literally said that after the podcast. He goes, dude, my legs, he goes, now that I can say it afterwards, I wasn't in an MMA gym in months. That's what he's telling us. He goes, this is all just from instinct. That's insane.
It's crazy, dude.
That's insane. And you know what? Yes, he might go down a little bit in the rankings, but Dana White, you got to reward guys like this.
Oh, 5 days notice, you absolutely have to. He's still getting a big fight. And he was, I mean, yes, he probably did lose all 5 of those rounds. I mean, you can make an argument, I guess, for maybe the 4th and the 1st, I believe. But really, that's it. And I still gave those rounds to RDA, but he was still competitive in this entire fight, I felt
absolutely.
like.
Yep.
He wasn't getting absolutely dominated. None of those rounds were 10-8s. They were just, it was a pretty good fight. And Paul was just, I think RDA was a little bit faster, man. I mean, obviously, he came off that long.
I kind of disagree with that, though. I mean, how fast Paul Felder, I've never seen him look so quick. It was
the quickest he's ever looked.
I've never seen him as quick, man. I mean, he was sharp.
He was,
but I think RDA was putting the combinations better.
Yes, he was just he was winning he was winning the exchanges.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Absolutely. But no, Rafael Dos Anjos, I mean, he obviously, we know this. He's a legend of the sport. There's definitely a resurgence right now.
Oh,
I
yes.
mean, to be able to put on a performance like that, because Paul Felder did everything possible. And Paul looked great. Let's not take anything away from Paul, but the spotlight is also shown on RDA right now and saying that this guy is still an elite contender in the lightweight division.
Yeah, he's absolutely. He deserved the top 5 fight. When they made the Islam Makhachev fight, I was a little bit shocked. Like, what the fuck? You're giving him number 12 in the world, the former lightweight champion. He was, I think 7 in the world at welterweight. Dude, he was the number 1 contender at welterweight at one time. It was really shocking that they gave him number 12. But it is in the most stacked division, and it is Khabib's next guy.
Exactly.
The next Khabib, essentially.
And not only that, but I mean, Islam Makhachev, as you said, he is the up-and-coming star in the division. And we had talked about this on the last episode, and I stand by it. I said RDA was an elite contender in the lightweight division, but what I also said is he's kind of the golden standard of someone where in order to get to that path to gold, you have to go through a guy like RDA.
Yes.
You have to. And it's a different scenario. It's no disrespect to RDA. If anything, it's a compliment in this scenario because I'm saying he's still an elite contender. He could still fight for the belt.
Yes.
But he's a guy that you got to beat on that path to gold, baby. That's the guy. So I understood that Islam Makhachev fight. But I mean, I think overall this really worked out for RDA because I mean, to fight a guy like Paul Felder, yes, he took it on 5 days' notice, and Paul is such a gangster to give up. I mean, because he knew his ranking was on the line. I mean, he's ranked number 7 in the world right now as a lightweight contender. So he may go down 1 or 2 slots, whatever. But I think Dana White's got to throw this guy. If Paul Felder, his post-fight interview was saying, "Hey, I'm not done. I'm revitalized. You can go out there and do it. I fell out of love with the game for a little while, but I'm back. I feel better than ever." Yes, dude. I was freaking out. I was yelling at my TV. Like, dude, I was pumped. I was like, yes, Paul Felder is not done. Because I really thought, man, when he was on the mic, I was like, man, he's probably going to retire here. It's just
I was waiting for it.
So was I. And I was so bummed. But, the question is, Tabor, who do you give Paul Felder?
I think he still deserves a top guy. Fucking Dan Hooker rematch, Charles Oliveira rematch, fucking Diego Ferreira, who got that big win over Anthony Pettis right in the beginning of the year and then disappeared off the face of the fucking earth.
Yeah.
Kevin Lee's going to make a comeback. There are so many contenders in this lightweight division. There's so many fights to be made. And now you throw RDA in there in the top 5. Dude, this lightweight division is fucking ridiculous. It's always been a debate. What's the best division in MMA? It's either the UFC bantamweight division or it's the lightweight division.
And I think this makes the most sense right now as it sits. RDA is a legend. He just beat number 7 in the world, okay? He deserves a top 5 guy.
Yes.
And that top 5 includes Dan Hooker. Now, I know RDA in the post-fight was calling out Conor McGregor. That fight is just realistically not going to happen. It's not. Can we just all agree upon that? Yes. I think 99.9% of people go, look at that fight and go, RDA, I know it was in the stars at one point in your career. You were supposed to have Conor, but you're not going to get that fight. And it sucks for you. You deserve a guy like Conor. He
wants it. It's the only thing he's been talking about.
Who was Conor beat? Cowboy Cerrone, and no disrespect to the Cowboy, but you don't deserve the next title shot. You don't deserve a guy like Dustin Poirier, but whatever. It's Conor McGregor. So I think right now, Dan Hooker makes the most sense.
I agree. 100%. I mean, it's either that or Justin Gaethje or a fucking Tony Ferguson.
Right.
Michael Chandler. There's just so many names in this lightweight division right now.
But I think, and we'll jump into it later, but I think probably the most likely scenario here is we're still going to get that Connor Dustin, right? And then we're going to get the Tony Chandler. So, yeah, maybe Gaethje. Yeah, Gaethje and Oliveira?
I would love to see that Oliveira fight. I'm not going to lie. I would love to see that. The jiu-jitsu matchup is fucking insane in that fight. I don't know. I think it has to be a top 3 guy. I mean, it's a former lightweight champion, and he came in and just beat essentially a top 5 guy in Paul Felder. Like, he deserves a big fight.
Yeah.
We'll have to see. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. I would not be shocked if it was a Justin Gaethje fight. I would not be shocked. RDA said he wants to be there in Vegas in January at this Conor McGregor-Dustin Poirier fight. So possible backup, maybe? Who knows?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's
maybe as a replacement. Not a bad idea.
Not a bad idea at all. Just shout out to Paul Felder. Just a fucking man. Just a man amongst boys, dude. Just a constant.
He's incredible.
He's just a professional, dude.
Yeah.
He's one of the best in the game. So shout out to Paul Felder. So happy that you did not retire.
Oh, dude. That was probably the best MMA news we got all year because I really thought he was going to retire, and I was already bummed.
Yeah.
I mean, it was bad enough when we had Habib just retire, and then to have Paul Felder retire too. I'm like, God, I can't take much more of this retiring shit.
2020 is just one thing after another, man.
And that's the thing with MMA or NBA or NFL. Like these guys retire after 12, 15 years. Some of these guys are retiring real young, and it sucks because you just love to watch them fight.
Yep.
But it does take a lot more out of you. So
absolutely. So neither of us took RDA, so no points there.
Nope.
Yeah, shame on us. Wish we had the shame bell from Game of Thrones. Shame. All right.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
To me for not getting that clip. All right, co-main event. Mason, Abdul Razak Al Hassan versus Chaos Williams. I'm going to be honest, man. I hated this fight. It fucking sucked. It was so boring.
You know what's funny is I was about to make that same joke. Literally.
That's awesome.
Wow. What a KO by Chaos Williams. They call him Chaos for a reason. Holy shit.
It didn't even look like that was 100%. Like it was a short, stubby straight.
Yeah, just like straight right.
It was like a feint, and then he kind of brought it back and still went with it. It was insane.
It was.
Insane to a guy that does that to people. One punch KOs. It was... I'm baffled by the performance. I was speechless when I saw it. I didn't know what the fuck to say. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? I did not see that coming.
I loved his quote too. He said, people be sleeping on me, but he's going to have the doctors to wake them back up. to wake these people back up. Because it is true, man. He can't sleep on Chaos.
He flatlined that man.
Yeah.
Fuck, dude, his body was twitching for a second.
It was.
It was insane. That was one of the nastiest KOs I've seen in a long time. And fuck, man. Dana White was saying in his Instagram videos, I don't know if people are watching that or not, but he's always talking about sleeper fights. And he was saying this was the fight to watch on this card. And boy, was he right.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, Chaos Williams. What do we do with this man? I mean, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, he hasn't had a number by his name yet, but he is one of these guys right on the outskirts of the top 15. So, what do we do with this man right now? Like, what do you see in his future? Does he get a top 15 opponent? Probably not.
No, I don't think so. I don't think so yet. But he's
on the verge, dude. I mean, well, that it's like asking. I mean, Joaquin Buckley just got that crazy knockout.
Yeah.
And then they still gave him on the cusp top 15 guy. So, who knows? Even you got a Robbie Lawler. He pulled out of that Mike Perry fight. So he's going to be needing a fight pretty soon.
Yeah, you could do 15. Robbie Lawler. I mean, that would be fun. That's a big name. I mean, if Chaos Williams wants to get a big win under his belt on his resume, I mean, that's the guy to do it. You brawl with a former brawler in the welterweight division. I like Robbie Lawler for that fight. I'm fine with that. Or an Anthony Pettis coming off that loss.
Yeah.
I'm fine with either one of those guys, honestly.
Yeah, absolutely. Chaos Williams deserves all the money in the world after that.
And I mean, now, what is he, 11-1? Yeah. I mean, I think he's proven himself at this point. So.
Yeah, I mean, Abdul Razak Al Hassan, I remember when this guy made his UFC debut, and he was on my radar from then. Because that guy was an absolute freak, an absolute savage. So if you're going to one-punch KO a guy like that, man, it's just, that's skyrocketing you up the rankings. So,
absolutely.
Big ups on Chaos Williams. Congratulations to him. He deserves it all after that. This next fight, Mason.
Yeah.
Do you even want to talk about it? I didn't watch it.
I'm not impressed by your performance.
Yeah, I feel bad, I guess, but it's the truth. It was not a very good fight.
During this fight, and I said, I quit tuning into this fight. I thought the fights between Antifa and the Proud Boys, I started scrolling through Twitter, and like watching these brawls in DC, and I was like, oh, I'm not even paying attention to this fight. It was just one of those. I don't know, man. It was hard for me to stay focused on this fight,
and it was sandwiched in between great KOs.
Yeah, and that I think that might have been the thing.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's hard to come after that Sean Strickland performance.
Yeah, and I was obviously joking, texting you. I did watch this fight. It just wasn't the most entertaining fight. You know, I thought Ashley dominated. A lot of it happened on the ground.
Yeah.
But there wasn't a lot of action going on the ground. It was a lot of like laying and like trying to transition, and there wasn't a whole lot of action. So it was just kind of a boring 15 minutes. I mean, she got the job done. I mean, she even scored a 10-8 on one of the judges' scorecards. But man, I just I
can tell you actually paid way more attention than I did.
I did.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
It just wasn't the best. It wasn't the most entertaining fight. But I mean, hey, Ashley Yoder got the job done. She did what she had to do as a fighter. So
yeah.
It's kind of where it is with me.
Yeah, plus we had put really high expectations on that strawweight division, especially after that opening fight, which we will get to.
We will get to.
But let's move on. Let's move on to Brendan Allen versus Sean Strickland.
Man, strong.
Whoa,
strong. Sean Strickland.
Strong. That's a good
strong
nickname.
Strickland.
Like
no
one.
kidding. Wow, did he look phenomenal?
Oh, dude, phenomenal. Upgraded his striking completely, dude. To do that to Brendan Allen, he made Brendan Allen look pretty amateur. I'm not gonna lie. Like Brendan Allen did not look comfortable in there. Sean was just even Bisping broke it down perfectly. He was kind of doing the Colby Covington where he's just throwing the straights. It wasn't 100% behind it. Wasn't going for the knockouts, but it was fucking working.
Yeah, it was.
And adding up and draining on Allen, and it was a beautiful performance to get the finish in the second round against an absolute savage like that on a 5-fight win streak, undefeated in the UFC. So big for Sean Strickland, and to come off that injury, I thought he was off like 3 or 4 years or something like that.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm over exaggerating that. I don't know exactly.
It was a little while though.
It was a while.
Wasn't it a motorcycle accident?
It was a motorcycle accident, and it took him a long time to come back from that injury, apparently. So happy for Sean Strickland, because that's a huge fucking fight for him. He's going to go somewhere in this middleweight division. I mean, I could see him getting a top 15 opponent after a win like that.
Well, Brendan Allen was supposed to fight Ian Einish, who was 15 in the middleweight division. So I say, dude, give it to him.
Why not? That's
give
a great
Strickland
matchup.
And Ian Einish, or I mean, Vettori just got signed, I guess, to a fight. But Brad Tavares.
Yeah, that's a great one too.
That's
There's a lot of
13,
names right near the tail end of that division that will be a great matchup for Sean Strickland. And fuck, dude,
because he looked great.
He's an absolute threat in this middleweight division.
Yeah,
he was. He looked great on the ground. He looked great on the feet. Very dominant against a guy who's probably a true middleweight that isn't making 170 like Sean used to. So big ups for him.
Yep.
Okay. Kay Hansen versus Corey McKenna.
This is #1 bullshit.
What the fuck was that judging, dude?
You were pretty upset about that.
I was like, what the fuck?
I knew you were going to go on a Twitter storm. I was like, okay, easy, Diego Sanchez. Because, man, I already knew, because I checked our Twitter page right after, because you typically run the Twitter page. And I was like, okay, here comes a Twitter storm from Tabor. That was fucking bullshit. The worst fight right now. I was like, oh boy, here we go.
I don't know what the fuck that guy was watching. Okay, maybe the first.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give him, if you thought Kay Hansen lost that first round, okay, you can make arguments, I guess. But I really thought she won it. Dude, she got the takedown at the end. She held him down, even landed a few shots on the ground. It wasn't the most damage on the ground, but if you're going to get 2 minutes of control time or something like that, even if you were slightly outstruck on the feet beforehand, that's still enough to win the round, in my opinion. It was a close fight on the feet till then.
Well, personally, I had a 29-28, Kay Hansen. I was I was shocked about the decision, but then I saw it was a unanimous decision.
Yes.
And I was like, okay, I got to go back when the card's over. I got to rewatch this fight. I didn't rewatch it. I didn't do my due diligence. And it pisses me off because I don't really have a clear-cut and concise opinion about it.
Yeah.
But from the one time that I watched it, watching live, I really did think Kay Hansen won that fight.
Well, first and third.
But it was so funny.
It was obvious the second round went to Corey McKenna. And before I just shit on this fight for the shitty decision, and I'm not trying to shit on Corey McKenna, she looked very
great.
good.
Yeah, she looked great.
Very, very good on the feet.
Take nothing away from Corey McKenna.
Yes, that was a close fight. Shit, you could argue that fight even being a draw, I guess. I don't know. I thought Kay Hansen did enough. It was just very weird. What was that judge thinking? I guess he must not have taken in consideration the takedowns, because I don't know. Did those judges, was it all 329-28?
It was.
Yes, it was. All 329-28. So they must have said K won to third,
Yes.
all three unanimously. So it had to have been the first round. Just absolutely disagree with the judge. There were several fighters online saying that, what the fuck? Kay Hansen obviously won this fight.
Yeah, I saw you interacting with Kenny Florian, so.
Yeah.
On Twitter. It was so funny, too, because I was laughing. And Mary was like, "What are you laughing about?" And I was like, "Oh, this is Tabor's girl." And she just looks at me and smiles, and she goes, "Tabor's got a lot of girls in the UFC, doesn't he?" And I go, "It's pretty much the whole UFC women's roster, especially in strawweight."
Yeah.
And we just laughed about it.
Yeah, it is funny. I'm a big fan of that strawweight division.
You are.
Yep, I love that division.
Got
It's
a
the
lot
most
of
stacked
gals.
women's division. There's a lot of hotties. I'm not gonna lie. I like
Oh,
it.
Tabor. Oh, Tabor.
Hey, man, I'm a fucking 26-year-old single heterosexual male. Do not judge me.
It's normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
It's normal.
No, but I just did think that was a bullshit decision. And, you know, you can't be shocked that maybe it was that same judge that gave Paul Felder that fight in the main event. Yeah, we can't be shocked.
That was an insane. I just like when I heard, even Paul was like, did you see that? When they read the judge's scorecard and the first one to be read was that judge who gave it to Paul. Paul was like, huh? Like even Paul couldn't believe that it was 49-48. This is insane, dude. Crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, crazy. Alrighty, well, I guess that covers it, Mason. MMA news time. And this is something we probably should have brought up on our Wednesday episode. Failed to.
Yeah, we did.
And then we laughed about it afterwards, and we're like, God, just so much disrespect because...
You know, it's just one of those things, though. It is the go. It's the women's MMA go, unquestionably. Amanda Nunes out of UFC 256. But it's one of those things, Tabor, where, like, whether or not she was in this fight or not, she won it. It's like she won. She's already won. It's like no one's going to take out Amanda Nunes, and no disrespect to Megan Anderson.
No respect to Megan.
Yeah, none at all.
Fuck you,
no
bitch.
disrespect to Megan Anderson. And like, I legitimately, if Amanda Nunes was not in the picture, I really believe Megan Anderson has the capability and the skill set to be a champion.
Oh, absolutely.
And potentially defend the belt for a while. But the thing is, Amanda Nunes is just another beast. I just don't see anyone taking out
levels
Amanda
above
Nunes.
everybody in this featherweight division.
Everyone.
You know, levels above all 6 of them.
And again, no disrespect to Megan. She's a phenomenal fighter. I love watching her fight, man.
Another one of my girls.
Yeah, I know. We know, Tabor. If any girl is just mildly attractive in the UFC, she's your girl.
She's my girl.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just put a fucking hit list, man. Goodness gracious.
Just got a list this long. No. But I'm not going to lie, Mason. When I saw the headlines that Amanda Nunes was out, the headline said this: UFC 256 loses its main event. And I was like, oh, fuck. Petr Yan's hurt. Aljamain Sterling's hurt. I was like, fuck. And then I saw, oh, Amanda Nunes is out. And I was like, oh, thank God.
Okay, so you calmed down a little bit.
Yeah, I was super happy. I was like, as long as that fight stays, I'm still buying it. Which kind of shocked me. I did not expect that to be a co-main. I thought that was the main event.
Yeah, that is a little shocking. But you know,
it's Amanda Nunes, so
Amanda Nunes.
I guess we can't be shocked.
It's a champ. It's, you know, unquestionably the most dominant champ we've ever seen in women's sports. So at the same time, like she should definitely headline any card, even though you already know the outcome. Like, and that's kind of the thing, man. Like Amanda Nunes is almost to this point now where she is becoming in his absolute prime. She is becoming the Tyson, the Mike Tyson of MMA, where it's like you tune in to see when she's going to win the fight.
Yes.
It's not a matter of if she's going to win the fight. It's a matter of
when and how.
Yep. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And that's it. And it's like, I feel like she's Tyson, like how Tyson was in his prime, where people would literally order the pay-per-view and it'd be over in 30 seconds and people were like, oh, fuck, I just spent $60 on this, you know? So it's just
like the Conor Jose fight.
For real, man. So like, you know, I am glad that they do have a good co-main for that card. I mean, I know this fight just dropped out because you have to have an Aljamain Sterling Petr Yan because you know Amanda's going to win. You just don't know when she's going to win. You know, so.
Yeah. I mean, and now that has a lot of people asking, is this fight card lacking a little bit for that $65 price tag? And I was saying yes until I looked up SureDog.com and saw the fights they already have announced. This is a pretty fucking stat card still, even without Amanda Nunes. But There is somebody chirping on Twitter that wants to fight on this card, Mason.
And who's that?
Tony fucking Ferguson. That
Set you
type
up
of guy. I wish I had I'm a fucking turtle still clipped.
Well,
just for that.
The first time I hit that button, I thought it was I am a turtle. But instead it was GSP. But nonetheless, I am stoked for this. And again, Tabor, like, not to toot our own horns here, but we do predict a lot of fights. We do predict matchups and how they're going to take place. And we were talking about a Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler fight in January. We got real close to that. Tony Ferguson is calling out Michael Chandler, and they want to fight in December.
Yep, December 12th. They want to be that main event, co-main event, whatever you want to call it. There is a title fight on this card still. So you probably won't throw a Tony Ferguson non-title fight over that. But you do people's main events. That's what you do. You still promote the shit out of this. Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler will make casuals buy this card.
Oh, absolutely. But I mean, yeah, but you're not going to make this a main event. You got to make that bantamweight championship main event and then co-main. But again, I really think we're getting to a point in the UFC where it's like these number one contender fights, we got to start making them 5 rounds. I know that's some people disagree with that. But man, do I want to see Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler go at it for 5 rounds?
Yes,
3 rounds just isn't enough. It's just not enough.
You know what?
Man.
You know what you do.
Sucks.
You know what you do.
You
just
main event a fight night.
Yeah. Well, you say sorry, Curtis Blades. Sorry, Derek Lewis. But you guys are now co-main event 3 rounds. Tony Ferguson, Michael Chandler 1 week before. That's what you do.
I totally agree with that because you know what? Heavyweight fights in 5 rounds, unless you're Stipe.
And especially a Curtis Blades main event now. Let's be fucking real. His last main event was not entertaining.
Right. I don't want to see heavyweights go 5 rounds, but do I want to see lightweights go 5 rounds? Do I want to see Tony Ferguson and Michael Chandler go 5 rounds? You sure betcha. Sign me up.
The fuck up.
Yeah,
Take my money, please. But that's a pay-per-view fight. That's a pay-per-view fight. I don't know if you do that kind of fight on an ESPN Plus unless you were getting that extra ESPN money.
Yeah.
ESPN would have to go, hey, man, we'll cover this stuff, put a big pay-per-view fight on the ESPN Plus so we get more subscribers. And that's what they did. Remember, they did that with Cejudo and Dillashaw.
They did, yes.
And others. They did Shevchenko title fights on ESPN Plus. I just don't see them doing that, to be honest, for right now. I hope this fight gets on this pay-per-view because that'll set this pay-per-view over the top as a big fucking card.
Oh, for sure.
It's a big card. I mean, let's start going down the list. Co-main event as we speak right now is Marvin Vettori, Ronaldo Souza. It's not the biggest co-main event in the world, but that is a big fight.
It's a great fight.
That's a great fucking fight. That's a huge fight. We'll see if Vettori's jiu-jitsu is on the level. You got Mackenzie Dern versus somebody I've never heard of.
See if his temper is under control by then. Is he
be.
still yelling in a fucking hotel lobby right now?
He's just walking down the
somewhere,
street,
just yelling at someone.
Some random person. Yeah, he's still pissed. Still pissed. Even though we won the fight. Still mad.
Yeah, no, still mad.
Like, bro, you won.
Like, bro,
you won.
just enjoy something about life. Just yelling at just everyone.
Yeah. Amanda Ribas is going to be on that card. You got Junior DeSantos versus Cyril Gane, Tisha Torres, Angela Hill, Cub Swanson, Ling Jia, and Dwight Grant.
Those are great fights.
They're great fights. So many fights. This is a great card, but a Tony Ferguson versus Michael Chandler will set it over the edge, and it will make people like me go, just take my fucking money.
Yeah, well, I mean, UFC 255 is not the most. I pay for every pay-per-view. We do.
Well, we're those type of guys. Yeah. You know, we're those type of guys. We watch every single week.
From a casual perspective, where it's like, okay, am I going to tune in? That may set a lot of other people over the edge, where they're like, yeah, okay, we're gonna pay for this.
Yeah, well, Tony Ferguson's one of the big draws. I really feel like he's not the biggest draw. Yeah, he's not a John Jones. He's not an Israel Adesanya, someone like that. But he is going to get casuals to tune in. I just don't see casuals tuning in for Aljamain Sterling and Petr Yan, unfortunately.
Yeah, that's so frustrating.
I know, and it's because it's a great fucking fight.
A star, dude.
That's a main event fight. That's a great fight. That fight should do 1 million pay-per-views if people only fucking knew the level of competition in that fight, but they don't, unfortunately. They don't know who these guys are.
The Funk Master.
It sucks.
Yeah.
It sucks. I can't wait for that fight card. I really can't. All right. We have to talk about USADA a little bit.
Yeah, let's do it. So the Golden Snitch himself knocking down doors, folks. No knock warrants. Just coming in. Fucking
coming in hard. Okay. So Yancy Medeiros was
that a pun?
Yes.
Coming in hard?
Yancy Medeiros.
This is some crazy news. I've never heard this before, ever. So if you want a good laugh, here it comes.
Yancy Medeiros went on Twitter and was talking about how he was mid-sex session in his living room, right on the couch, just going at it hard. And USADA started knocking on the door and wouldn't leave, so he had no choice but to go open the door up, and he damn well knew the guy was listening.
It's normal.
For USADA, I guess. They're just cup on the wall.
Hey, look, when they went to urine sample, they won it.
I don't give a fuck.
That's USADA.
Sure. That is USADA.
That's USADA. They don't give a fuck.
That was Jeff.
No.
Jeff's at the door.
No.
He says, pee in this cup.
No, so rumor has it, the guy actually pulled his dick out and put it in the cup for him.
What?
No, I'm just joking.
Oh, I'm like, what? I was like, why?
Actually,
I'm like, that's
we're not making sure there's no cheating here.
Yeah,
you ain't gonna clean nothing off.
He's like, I'll shake it out for you too.
Oh
like,
my
what
God.
are we doing here?
Dude, that's wild. I mean,
That
you
is
hear all
insane.
the time about USADA knocking at 2 a.m. in the morning, waking fighters up, going, what the fuck? It's 4 a.m. What are you doing here? I'm trying to sleep. Nope. Time to test, motherfucker.
That's insane.
It's crazy.
It's crazy. What
It's
a
crazy.
story, man.
That's an insane story. I mean, they're getting it.
Oh, they don't care.
They don't care.
They don't care in what capacity of what you're doing. I mean, your mother could be on her deathbed. She could be dying in front of you. She's in her last moments of life. Sweet Grammy.
Her last words.
Grandma. And she's like, and they're like, pee in the cup right now. No.
Sir, you're gonna have to come here for a moment.
Sir. Like, dude, Grammy is she's dying, brother. I mean, she's like got 2 minutes. Can this wait? Like, I just want to say my last goodbyes to Grammy.
Jeff Nowitzki's like, do you want that leather jacket or not, motherfucker?
It's insane.
RDA just hit 50.
Yeah.
50 clean tests, got a jacket.
Oh, good for him.
Yeah, it's like a Hall of Fame jacket.
Yeah.
You know, it's, that should be the
Hey, I'm
testing.
clean.
Yeah, that should be the testing curve. You get 50 clean tests, then you can get in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, okay.
It's like half the Hall of Fame has to drop out instantly.
Yeah, you would
all
say,
the whole early eras.
Oh,
they
yeah.
just all be done.
All the way up until like UFC 150 would all have to just be completely eliminated.
Oh, that's good stuff. Good stuff. Okay, before we move on to some Bellator news, there was this fight that I completely forgot about. It's been announced for a while. It's happening on that December 19th card, the Hamzat Chimaev versus Leon Edwards card.
God, I can't wait for that
Can't
fight.
fucking wait for that fight. And that card to round the year off for a fight night. It's going to be stacked. It's going to be like the Colby Covington and Tyron Woodley card.
I'm getting goosebumps for it right now. I'm not even playing.
Yep. Well, this will make it even better. This will make it even better. Jeff Neal, hands of motherfucking steel versus Stephen Wonderboy Thompson's
Absolutely.
happening.
I'm excited for that.
Great fight.
That'd be a great fight.
That's a rough fight for my guy, Jeff Neal. That's a rough matchup for my guy,
it could
Jeff
potentially
Neal.
be a rough night for Wonderboy, too, if he gets caught.
Well, the fucking Anthony Pettis fight, it only takes one, especially with hands of steel. Like, fuck. That's his name.
It's gonna be
hands of steel.
It'll be an interesting matchup too. You know, I mean, Wonderboy's known for being a counter striker, and Jeff Neal's gonna have to find a way to get inside and just land that big punch, that big opportunity. The question is Wonderboy going to be able to give him those openings? I don't know.
It's a puncher's chance.
It's going to be fun, though. It's going to be a great fight to watch. I'm very excited as a co-main event, I'm assuming.
And pretty much I could just give you my pick for that fight right now because I'm going to stick with it. Wonderboy's probably going to piece him up for 3 rounds. And if that's what happens, it'll be an entertaining 3 rounds. Wonderboy is one of my favorite fighters, dude. A guy no one talks about.
He's underappreciated, too.
Yes.
Very underappreciated in the UFC.
He is so smooth. And he's probably the best counter striker we have other than maybe Israel. And even those two, I really don't think they're that far off from each other in the level of striking.
I think I will be honest here. I think Izzy's got a little bit more fluidity.
He's more dangerous.
Yeah, he is.
I think his style is more dangerous because he's just got a little bit different striking style. Wonderboy's so karate heavy.
Yeah, he is. And Izzy's got some heavy leg kicks, too. Paulo Costa found that out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, he was trying to dance around and act like they didn't affect him, but clearly affected him. So I don't know. I mean, but nonetheless, you are right. I mean, Stephen Wonderboy Thompson is one of the top 3 as far as counter strikers right now in the UFC. I think he's fantastic. This will be a great fight. I'm very excited for this.
Yeah, can't wait. Can't wait for that entire card. Let's move on to a little bit of Bellator news. So neither of us really watched these fights, right? You didn't watch this last Bellator.
I did not. And the problem is I work, you know, so like I work a swing shift and I don't know why Bellator's doing this. It's kind of irritating because, you know, I want to watch these fights. I used to tune in, you know, when they were on Saturdays or even Friday nights, but I can't watch them now. But I definitely wanted to see this one with Corey Anderson. I saw that he got the win. And you want to talk a little bit about Pitbull?
Yeah, well, Pitbull got that big first round KO. I mean, they were, before Rona happened, they were mid tournament with this featherweight Grand Prix, I think is what they're calling it.
Yeah, it's a Grand Prix.
UFC, take fucking notes. Please do something like this. Start
For the
a
lightweight division, at
165 or something. Like, even if it's a 4-fight tournament, like, just do something cool like that. It's just so cool that Bellator does this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I like it. I like it for Bellator, and it's different. It's different than the what the UFC is doing. The UFC will never do this. Keep in mind,
never.
like it's definitely never going to be a tournament style for any sort of belt or anything. So that's what makes Bellator unique and different. I do like it.
Yeah, I like it a lot. Pitbull got that first round big KO, showed his big power. I think it was like a 2 or 3 minute long KO. Advanced to the semifinals. I think it's next Thursday is the quarterfinals for the featherweight division. So I think we should do something for this featherweight tournament. The last 4 fights at least. That's a big tournament because I really do think Pitbull is one of these guys no one talks about. I mean, I tried talking to you about it earlier. You're like, who's that?
Oh, the guy that beat Michael Chandler.
Yeah, exactly. That's how he's known.
For the lightweight belt.
Well, that's how people know him. The guy that beat Michael Chandler. It's like that you don't want to be known as that. No, that's probably why he's so salty.
Especially when you're as dominant as he is. Yeah, I get it, man. I mean, you don't want to be the guy that the guy who's known as the guy who beat Michael Chandler. I mean, you want your own name, you want your own identity, and you deserve it. And I feel bad. It's just like, for whatever reason, like, he has not got as much publicity over there at Bellator. I mean, they got to do a better job of marketing him. I mean, if he really is as dominant, which obviously he is, it's on paper.
Yeah, and he's a 2-division champ.
Yeah, two-division champ. Casuals should know that. People should know that. And like they don't market it enough. They're still doing this old man fucking shit sometimes.
Rampage Jackson versus fucking.
Yeah, and I'm like, why are you guys promoting these old people? Like, promote your fighters, promote these guys. The Douglas Limas, the Pettises now, or not Pettises, but Pettis, Sergio. But promote these guys, these young guys. Don't be. Or Aaron Pico.
Aaron Pico got a lot of promotion there. I mean, they really thrusted that guy right into the top.
Yeah, because
he got another big win.
Yeah, these are like top fighters, top contenders, So
yeah, and like we said in the past, I really do think the topper echelon in every division in Bellator really can compete in the UFC. But other than that, maybe after the top 5, the top 10, it's really the level of competition really drops. But it's still interesting, and I can't wait for this featherweight Grand Prix. It looks like the last 4 people should be very, very good. I mean, only I think the guy who knocked out Pico just lost. So there's very, very competitive guys in this featherweight division. It's one of the better featherweight divisions, better divisions in Bellator. So a little bit excited for that. Mason, let's start our preview show. UFC 255. Davison Figueiredo, Alex Perez, Shevchenko versus Maia. I don't really know where to start. I mean, should we start him over the card overall? Are you excited for this card?
It's not the worst card in the world. It just doesn't get me extremely excited. Yeah. And that's a very odd statement to make when you have 2 title belts on the line at UFC 255. You figured in most scenarios, you're like, wow, you get a double champ fight. I mean, not a double champ, but I mean 2 championship fights on one pay-per-view. That's normally going to be a great card, no matter who else is on the card. And like, there are good fights. Mike Perry's on this card. Caitlin Chikagian's on this card. Mauricio Shogun Rua is on this card. But I don't know, man. I just think it's because I know who's going to win these belts or not win them, defend them, I should say. That it's not. I don't know, for whatever reason, like, I'm excited. I will tune in. I will watch it, of course, but it's not like I'm not like
just
looking
hyped.
Forward to it with anticipation.
It's not
the same way I
Habib
was.
versus Tony Ferguson. Yeah. It's not even Tony Ferguson versus Justin Gaethje. It's like there's so many fights I can name off that I get hyped for.
Right.
These just aren't one of them. I agree 100%. I mean, we all know Valentina Shevchenko is going to beat Jennifer Maia. It's one of these Amanda Nunes situations. It's like how and when.
Yep.
We all know that's what's going to happen. It's a little more interesting with this main event. I think we should start right there. Davison Figueiredo and Alex Perez. I do think it's more interesting just because the way Alex Perez got his last win against Formiga. I mean, he finished him in the first round with calf kicks. Crazy. You're going to finish a guy that tough with calf kicks in the first round? I'm not shocked they gave him this fight. Did Brandon Moreno kind of get leaped over this fight? Probably. But with an impressive performance like that, am I shocked? No. I just don't think he could do something like that to Figueiredo. Figueiredo is a fucking savage.
Well, the thing is, like, you look at Figueiredo, like, he didn't make weight the first time against Joseph Benavidez, right? Went out there, still dominated. Made weight the second time. But the thing is like, he looked like the older brother to Joseph Benavidez.
Yeah, he looked like a
Figueiredo looks huge, and he hits like a semi truck for that division, for this flyweight division. Mm-hmm. It is insane, like just how big and how strong he is. I do not foresee Alex Perez, and don't get me wrong, Alex Perez looked phenomenal, and those calf kicks were super effective, and I thought he looked great. But again, there are levels to this game, and I think that is going to be the overall theme of UFC 255. Mm-hmm. There are levels to this game, and I think Figueiredo right now, being 19-1, just looks too dominant, looks too good, and I think he will be the flyweight champion for a very long time, unless a guy like Henry Cejudo can come out of retirement and maybe fight him again.
That's never going to happen.
No, I know it's not, but I'm just saying, like, that would be the only thing. That would be the only thing. I don't think there's anyone in this flyweight division right now who stands a chance against Davidson Figueiredo.
Yeah. I agree with you 100%. I mean, maybe Moreno, Cody Garbrandt was going to make that leap down. Didn't happen. Kind of glad it didn't. He'd probably get knocked out, probably pretty viciously, like TJ did when he made that drastic cut.
Yeah.
So probably a blessing in disguise. I agree with you, man. I don't even know if this division is going to stick around that much longer. I mean, now we have Brandon Moreno, essentially the number one contender, fighting a Brandon Royval, who's only had 2 or 3 fights in the UFC.
Yeah.
And he wins that fight, he's probably getting a title shot. Mm-hmm. So this division does not have that many guys. Remember when they cut all of those guys out a couple years ago?
Yep.
I wouldn't be shocked if Figueiredo defends this belt a couple times and they scrap the division and just make everybody move up 135. Alex Perez is a big 125er. He could easily fight at 135. Figueiredo is a massive. He can fight at 145. Shit.
I think the way that they would do that is if Figueiredo moved up while having the flyweight championship, if he were to fight in a super fight.
Yeah, that's what they'd
135 for bantamweight, and if he wins that belt, then they would either give him the option, you got to defend both, or vacate the flyweight belt, with which that time they would probably just eliminate that in whole. And this has been the constant talking point for years about this division is it's not as strong as these other divisions in the UFC. I mean, you always have that clear-cut, concise number one guy, and then the other ones just kind of fall by the wayside. They just cannot compete in comparison, and that's why it's kind of a travesty that we didn't get Henry Cejudo versus Davidson Figueiredo, or we don't have a Mighty Mouse to come back, a DJ to come back and to defend. I mean, because he's over at 1, obviously. So it's like, again, what do you do with this division? I don't see Brandon Moreno beating him. I don't see Brandon Royval beating him. I don't see, obviously Alex Perez. I don't see him beating him. I have Davidson Figueiredo winning this fight, second round KO. I'm just going to say it now. That's my prediction. So again, it's a tricky situation right now that we find the flyweights.
Yeah, well, he's going to find himself in the exact same situation Israel Adesanya might be in right now. Is there's not a clear cut number one contender other than Robert Whittaker, a guy you've already beat.
Yeah, I disagree with that point though. I mean,
that's why they were talking Israel move up to Jan.
That was only because Dana White came out and said Robert Whittaker did not want that fight. Come to find out, that's not true. And again, like we've talked about it, like Robert Whittaker deserves. He is the number one contender, clear cut and concise right now. So there is a number one contender. It's a little bit different situation in this flyweight division. I mean, I do hear what you're saying, and I don't think like you're completely wrong, but I do think these are just totally two different situations. I mean, tell me, compare. Okay,
I get. So let's say Moreno goes and knocks out Royval.
Yeah, but but I mean, let's put some respect on Robert Whittaker's name. I mean, he's a former champion. He defended his belt multiple times. I mean, on that same token, I mean, there are no guys in the flyweight division that are doing or have held the belt or former champs either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's a good point. That's a pretty good point. I didn't really consider that. I give Alex Perez a pretty good shot. Why not? Let's just say I'm not going to underestimate him. I think he's an absolute savage. I just don't think it's going to happen because I think he wants to strike. I think he wants to stand on the feet and bang with Figueiredo. And if you do that with Figueiredo, you're probably getting knocked the fuck out. And unfortunately, I am also taking Figueiredo by KO, except I am taking him in the first round. I don't think this lasts very long. It's probably going to be about 2 minutes. Alex Perez is probably going to get pieced up and get viciously KO'd in the end. Figueiredo is just another animal.
Yeah.
He's just a different type of guy. I really think it'll be levels to this type of game with this main and co-main event.
All right, we'll move on to the middleweight division. Or, excuse me, co-main event of this. Women's flyweight co-main event for the women's flyweight. Sorry, we were worrying about the camera here. We got a little bit of...
Technical difficulties.
Either
way, Valentina Shevchenko, Jennifer Maia, Valentina Shevchenko, 4th round TKO. Easy as that. I don't have to break anything down. It's easy as that. It's not going down to the ground. And if it did go down to the ground, I still think Shevchenko is going to fucking dominate.
Yep. You still give the advantage to her.
And Jennifer Maia's the jiu-jitsu champ or whatever. She's supposed to be the jiu-jitsu savage on the ground, but she is still going to get fucked up on the ground if it goes there. Yep. Valentina is levels above the rest of this flyweight division. She is so much better than all of these other girls. It's really an Amanda Nunes situation.
Well, Tabor, I think the Vegas would agree with you, as Valentina Shevchenko is sitting at a minus 1,300. Yeah, you heard that right, folks. A minus 1,300. Jennifer Maia coming in at a plus 800. I agree with your
$100, bro.
Of course, I agree with your assessment. Well, you'd have to put 1,300 down. Just to
but
win
it's an
$100.
easy $100.
It is. It really is. If you got the money to blow, I don't got $1,300 fucking dollars to put down on this fight. But if you did have that money, congrats to you. Go make an easy 100. But yeah, I'm the same assessment here. I think Valentina Shevchenko. I mean, we might see another fantastic KO. You know, the same
Jessica Eye.
Jessica Eye, the same way with that head kick. You know, where so I got Valentina Shevchenko winning this fight, 3rd round TKO.
Yeah, I think so. Let's talk as if Jennifer Maia has a real chance.
Oh, okay. I love hypotheticals.
I'm so disrespectful.
Yeah, and
it's the truth, though.
It is.
Let's talk like she's can really defeat her. If this goes down to the ground, I mean, Jennifer Maia, I'm sure, is working every submission off of her back right now, is training to fucking take fat damage on the ground. I just see that's probably what's going to happen. That's why my pick is 4th round TKO. I see Valentina fucking her up on the feet. Maybe Jennifer Maia has to do something, gets taken down anyways. Valentina is not scared of Jennifer Maia's jiu-jitsu. I see this going down to the ground. I think that might be Jennifer Maia's only chance if she sneaks in a guillotine.
I would say it would be her best chance. But even then, I mean, Valentina Shevchenko's takedown defense is superb. Her jiu-jitsu is superb. Her ground and pound is superb. I mean, there is not a weakness in Shevchenko's game, in my opinion. Like, I just don't see it, especially at this flyweight division. So I think it's a tall tale sign that she will win this fight. When you look at a fighter on paper and go, man, I don't know how, I don't see where Jennifer Maia has an opening. I mean, maybe she gets lucky and pulls off a submission if Shevchenko isn't paying attention, but Shevchenko's got to have a real off night in order to lose this fight, man. Mm-hmm. You know?
Yeah, I would be fucking shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Completely shocked.
Shocked. I mean, it could happen. GSP got knocked out. GSP got knocked out by Massera.
That is true.
It could happen.
Yep.
You know? Jennifer Maia, 1st round sub. I'm going with it. I'm out on a limb. No, I'm just joking. No,
I was like, cool. All right, I'll take the easy point.
no, I'm just joking. I'm sticking with myself.
Well, I mean, when there are odds this astronomically big, you would have to get like 8 points for this. You would have to. I mean, I'm not going with her, even though I'm down 60
It
points.
might be worth a $10 bet.
Oh,
plus 800, why not?
Yeah.
You know, you
No,
get fucking
not
$80 back
no.
or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
$10
lose $10.
Yeah, why
Who
not?
gives a shit?
$5 even, you know, $5 for $40, you know.
It's worth it. Worth it.
Absolutely.
All right. Next fight. Mike Perry, Tim Means. Before we even talk the fight, we got to talk a little bit about Mike Perry.
Okay.
He's been on Instagram lately.
I'm sure he has been.
Eating lots of ice cream and brownies, cupcakes, donuts, pancakes in the morning, chocolate chip pancakes. Got a 25-pound weight cut to make in 9 days last time I saw it. It's now 6 days from now until UFC 255. Does Mike Perry make weight?
I mean, I sure hope so. I mean, dude, you're a professional. That's what you should be doing. I'm not going to talk shit about Mike Perry until he actually does. I mean, he's not a guy to consistently miss weight.
Yeah, I don't think he has missed weight, at least recently.
Yeah.
That I can think of.
Not that I can think of either. So, yeah, I mean, Mike Perry shows up. He's a professional. He makes weight. I really, I know it is an issue, but I think it's a non-issue until he shows up and he doesn't make weight. Mm-hmm. If he's got this, which Mike Perry, I say it over and over, there might be some CTE. There might be something going on.
Oh, he's definitely crazy.
Yeah, he's just a little crazy. I mean, we love him. I love watching him fight. I'll tune into every Mike Perry fight.
Yeah, I love
I love what he's doing. I think he's a great fighter, but there's something not quite right up there.
Absolutely, 100%.
And, I think it only becomes an issue if he shows up and he has that mentality on the scales. If he has that fuck it mentality where he doesn't even care about being a professional, then it'll have some cause for worry. But right now, I mean, he can do whatever the hell he wants.
Yeah.
If he can eat pancakes and donuts and stuff and make weight, he has every right to do that.
Yeah.
It's his career. It's his, it's his life.
Yeah, my take
Just be a professional and make weight.
Yeah, my take is like, dude, you're going to look like a fucking dumb fuck if you miss weight now. Especially if you miss weight bad, like say he misses by 2 pounds or 3 pounds or something.
Right, or 6.
Or even,
we've seen people miss by 6 pounds.
Yeah, if he does that, dude, he is going to get roasted so fucking hard, and it would be so deserved. Because you have guys like Paul Felder. Like, could you imagine the agony and the hell that man just went through on 5 days' notice, still make 155?
Weight, to be walking around at 180?
Yeah.
But again, and that's something like with you and I in the podcast 5 days ago. If you watch that podcast on Wednesday, you and I were talking, and I said, no matter what, Paul Felder is going to be a professional. He's going to show up and he's going to make weight because that is who Paul Felder is. That is the man. That's the Paul Felder we all know. That's the Paul Felder we love. He shows up. He's so game. He's ready to fight, and he means business, man. Mike Perry, he's kind of a wild card. You don't know. You don't know what the guy's going to do. But again, I'm not going to sit here and talk shit about Mike Perry either because he has been a professional. He has showed up. He has made weight.
Yeah, and he could show up, make weight, just have his girlfriend in his corner again, and still fuck Tim Means up.
And that was a pretty gangster move.
Yeah.
I mean, it caused a lot of publicity. I mean, people were talking shit about him when he did that. And then it was almost genius.
Yeah, it was genius. Dude, we didn't even talk about the Darren Till shit. Remember when Darren Till was saying, he said $500 and I'll let you be in my corner. And then Darren Till was tweeting, I was like, I'll pay you $1,000, stuff like that. And then Mike Perry's manager was coming out. It's set. Darren Till's going to be in Mike Perry's corner and all this shit. And then Darren's like, how much will you pay me for me to throw the towel?
Yeah. I mean, dude, again, honestly, I know he's eating donuts and whatever, but Mike Perry's going to Mike Perry. As long as he can show up and be a professional, I'm fine with whatever he does.
Yeah, I don't care. It's just, he better be prepared because if he doesn't fucking make weight, dude, just get ready to be roasted.
Yeah, it's probably not going to be a great look.
It's going to be bad.
Yeah.
It's going to be bad. And especially if he loses, say he misses weight 6 pounds, then goes and gets his fucking ass kicked by Tim Means, Dana's probably not going to be happy. I would not be shocked.
No, and
maybe he got
understandably.
cut. But he's such a big guy. It's such a big, well-known name. And he's just crazy enough to do it and not give a fuck. Maybe
true.
Dana respect that. Maybe they keep him around. I don't know. A little nervous for Mike. Not going to lie.
All right. Well, how do you see this fight going down, Tabes?
All right. Well, this is a very well-matched fight, I think. Both these guys are tough as fuck, willing to just go in there, get into a brawl. It might be a technical brawl. It's kind of one of those fights where, maybe somebody catches someone and then tries to burst and maybe barrage them. We'll see. I hope both these men's cardio holds up because I do think this is going into the later rounds. I am taking Mike Perry, 3rd round KO. I think he finds a way to fucking land something legendary on Tim Means, and he'll find a way to put him away in the 3rd. It's going to be a very back-and-forth fight until then, I think, because I really do think both of these men are very well matched up on the feet.
Yeah.
I give Tim Means the advantage on the ground, though. If it goes down to the ground, expect Mike Perry. Well, actually, I don't know. Mike Perry fucking completely outclassed Mickey Gall on the ground and someone else on the ground too, didn't he? Mm-hmm. Completely outclassed him. So maybe Mike Perry is completely brand new with his jiu-jitsu. He is training with Jacare Souza, so that's a fucking great partner to have for your jiu-jitsu right there.
Absolutely. I know Mike Perry's going all crazy and whatever, eating donuts and stuff, but I got to go with him. Mm-hmm. He impressed the hell out of me in his last performance. As much as a wild card he is, I like Mike Perry.
Yeah, I like him a lot.
I do.
He's just a character, dude.
Yeah,
people are drawn to characters.
Yeah.
We're not drawn to guys like, unfortunately, I'm going to use him as an example, but, I am because his striking so beautiful. But Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, you're just a cookie cutter nice guy, bro.
He's
the nicest guy in the entire world.
Yeah, nicest guy in the world.
I like a little crazy.
I
like a little crazy. It makes people, we get drawn to those characters. Sugar Sean O'Malley, Mike Perry, fucking Cheeto Vera. Those guys who are a little bit, bit wacky out there.
Sugar Sean kind of took a few points down on my notch because he just kept complaining about that. He was real salty about that. And I was like, bro, just
relax.
Take your L, man.
Honestly.
I mean, you're a professional fighter. You're a badass. Like, you're on the up and up, even after losing that fight. But you got to take your L's a little better than that. It's just a lot of complaining. And whoever made that video, you sent me that compilation of his podcast. That was one of the funniest videos of all time.
The Salty
ought to
Show?
Share it. The Salty Show.
Oh, that was
Oh my God.
awesome.
It was this guy. I don't know who he is, but it was a YouTube channel where he edited it like where like he was
like
complaining.
Cheeto Vera was just good. He was better than me
he
and
was
stuff
better
like that.
than me.
And the whole time,
you
he
know,
was
his
bitching about
actual
it.
podcast, he was just saying, you know, Cheeto Vera sucks, this and that, this
Yeah.
and that. And it's like, bro, like he beat you. Like, I get it. You can say you had an off night, you weren't feeling this or whatever. He caught you. Like, that's respectable. But to just sit there and disrespect someone who clearly beat you.
Call
it's
him
just,
a journeyman and shit like
yeah,
that.
it's just not a good look. It's like, well, you lost to him, so what does that make you?
Yeah.
If he's a journeyman, what does that make you? It's just, it's kind of weird. So, you know, I mean, I'm still hyped on Sugar Sean. He's a fantastic fighter. I look forward to his future in the UFC, but dude, you can't be calling people journeymen when they just beat you. Like, it's just not a good look.
Yeah, 100%.
But nonetheless, Mike Perry, second round TKO. That's what I got for this fight.
All right, next fight. Caitlin Kukagian versus Cynthia Calvillo. This is a big fight for this flyweight division, dude. Big fight. Cynthia Calvillo with a win over Caitlin Kukagian. She might be the next in line against a Valentina Shevchenko.
Yeah, I mean, I would think so. Unfortunately for Chikagian, she's coming off that loss October 17th, not too long
to
ago
Jessica
against
Andrade.
Jessica Andrade, making her now the number one contender in that division. But, you know, I like this fight. I like the Cynthia Calvillo fight. She's 9-1-1 right now in this division. And Caitlin Chikagian's kind of that girl that you got to get through, you know?
Yeah, she
a lot of the
absolutely
way,
is.
she's at RDA. You know, where you got to get through Caitlin in order to get a title shot. And I think, you know, with an impressive win over Caitlin, she could very well be the next one in line after Jessica Andrade.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that was a big debate at the time. Is Jessica Andrade getting the next title fight with no matter what after that victory?
I think she
Some
should.
people said yes,
I
but
think she should.
we'll find out if Cynthia Calvillo comes out and gets a big win over Kukagian. You know, maybe they set up that fight for a number one contender. Who knows? Or maybe they just set them both up to fight Valentina.
But Calvillo loses, and what are you going to do? Give Chikagian?
Then you just got to give Andrade the fight.
Exactly.
Because you ain't going to make that rematch with Andrade.
Yeah, but how do you make the case? How do you make the case that Cynthia Calvillo jumps over Andrade when Andrade
Because that
came
was
out and beat
back-to-back former number one contenders. I mean, you had Jessica Ai, who was the number one contender at the time, beat her. Then Caitlin Kukagian, who was the number one contender when Jessica Andrade beat her.
Yeah, but I mean, you look at the
You can
resume
make an
of
argument for that
Andrade.
fight. Yeah, true. Former champion,
Yep.
multiple divisions, wins in every division essentially.
Right.
So
I mean, what fight sells better?
yeah, true. Very true. Very true. Let's talk about this fight right here. Caitlin Kukagian versus Cynthia Calvillo. This is primarily probably going to stay on the feet unless Cynthia Calvillo could find a way to get those takedowns in. I mean, her boxing's pretty good. But is her boxing good enough to outstrike a Caitlin Kukagian who's got that length and has got that extremely good counter-striking? She's a very, very good counter-striker in this division. Yes, she got hit with that big power by Jessica Andrade, but, I mean, she was finding a way to land shots. This could be a very dangerous fight for Cynthia, but I'm going to stick with Calvillo. I have a feeling she's going to find a way to take Caitlin down, maybe grind her out for a few rounds, and win 2 of these rounds. I think if it stays on the feet, Caitlin Kukagian all day. But if it goes down to the ground, I think Cynthia Calvillo is a good enough wrestler to keep her down, land some big shots, and dominate those positions. So I'm going Cynthia Calvillo, unanimous decision.
Alrighty. You know, I think Chikagian's got a little bit more experience right now in the octagon. I think she looks real good on the feet, standing up. I have her winning this fight by decision.
All right. Yeah, it'll if it's a striking matchup, it'll be a great fight.
Yeah.
It'll be a technical battle through and through. All right. Opening up the main card is Shogun Rua versus Paul Craig.
I want to ask you a little trivial question. Okay. How old do you think Shogun is without looking?
I think he was the guy. I think I was thinking of him when I was talking about Glover last time. Because remember I said Glover was only 37? It was actually Shogun I was talking about.
Shogun Rua is only 28 years old. It's insane. I mean, he started his 38. That's it.
Okay, you said 28. I was like,
30,
what the fuck?
38. I mean, he started his career 17 years ago when he was 21.
Yeah, okay, so
and he's still fighting. But 38 is still relatively young.
Dude, he looks like he's
been
50.
in. Oh my god, I know. And he's been in so many fucking wars. Man. It's insane. It's insane.
Wars. And just wars in the gym.
Yeah.
Him and fucking the axe murderer, Wanderlei going at it. Mm-hmm. What the fuck? It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So I got to pray for the guy because you never know what's going to happen when this Paul Craig fight. Luckily, he's a jiu-jitsu guy. So hopefully that's what we see. if this goes down to the ground, I think it's a pretty well matched up fight in my opinion. But
and this is a rematch too.
Yeah.
They fought in 2019. It was a draw.
oh, really?
Yeah, in 2019
I
it was
don't.
that draw.
I should have watched that fight. Went back and watched it to see how it plays out because I never saw it. So I don't know. I'm coming into this fight kind of fresh. I don't know what happened that first time. I'm gonna go with Paul Craig. I'm gonna go Paul Craig 3rd round sub. I think he's a better jiu-jitsu practitioner. I think Rua's going to want to keep it on the feet and want to bang like he always does. Paul Craig isn't going to want any of that. I think he's going to try to find a way to take Shogun down or pull guard, something. I do think Paul Craig is the better jiu-jitsu guy. I'm going with him 3rd round sub.
Okay, I got Paul Craig decision on this one.
All right. We got to pick this fight as well. Main event of the prelims, Brandon Moreno, Brendan Royval. It's a big matchup for this flyweight division. It really is. Moreno, you could have said, deserved that fight over Perez.
Yeah.
But because his win over Formiga was more recent and it was so impressive with those calf kicks.
You have recency biased.
Absolutely. So I'm not shocked they went with that Alex Perez fight. If Brandon Moreno gets a big win, he will be chirping for that title shot, and it will be well-deserved. This is going to be a great fight. Brendan Royval, that fight with fucking Kai Kara France only, a month and a half ago, 2 months ago? That was a wild, wild fight, man. The way he started off with a spinning elbow and landed perfectly, it was a great fight. And he's got really good jiu-jitsu. He's a very well-rounded guy and a really nice guy. Works with children that are, I'll say, need rehabilitation. He works in a juvie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He works in a juvie. So I'm very high on this Brandon Royval guy, and he's only had a few fights in the UFC. This is a tricky fight for me to pick, man. This is going to be a great matchup on the feet and on the ground. Royval, unanimous decision. I'm sorry,
I
Moreno.
definitely give Brandon Moreno the advantage on the feet, but I think if Brandon Royval can get this fight to the ground, from what I've seen from the 2 fights that he has had, his submission game is on point.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go Brandon on this fight.
Okay.
Just Brandon.
So you're always
either way,
good. So either way, you're going to win. Yeah,
No,
exactly.
I got Brandon Roy. That was a terrible joke I made. Probably one of the worst jokes I've ever made on a podcast. Kill me now.
Hey, man, you got to shoot your shot.
You got to shoot your shot. Not
shot.
every joke lands. But I will pick Brandon Royval 2nd round sub.
Yeah, Moreno's going to want to keep it on the feet, dude. He's going to want to use that boxing, man. He's a fucking savage boxer. So this is a very interesting matchup, and I can't wait. Mason.
Absolutely.
It is that time. Shout outs.
Yes, sir.
What is your shout out for this
So
one?
this person doesn't need a shout out, especially from me or anyone, because he's pretty well known. But shout out to the journalists out there who actually do journalistic work. I've really been tuning in a lot to Tim Pool. Mm-hmm. He's a disinfected liberal. That's what he claims to be. He's been. It's just. I watch his videos, and he doesn't beat around the bush or anything. He's a very straightforward journalist. He'll tell you how it is. He'll see it how he sees evidence. And I appreciate that, because that's the true journalism we need. We don't need these Fox News. We don't need this CNN bullshit. We need real, true journalists giving the people news and information. And I feel that's what Tim Pool does. So shout out to Tim Pool.
Yeah, shout out Tim Pool.
Check out his YouTube channel.
Yeah,
he just hit 1 million subs on all 3 of his channels now.
It's fucking awesome. Good for that guy, man. I really loved watching his transformation over the years, because he really has changed a whole lot. I think a lot of people have. We won't get into that. It's pretty political. But my shout out is to a YouTube commenter. Remember, guys, I give a shout out every week to a YouTube commenter. So leave a comment below or on any of our clips on YouTube, and you could get shouted out on the show. To Ron Brown, you are not only our top commenter, I think you've left more comments than anybody, but you also respond when we respond to you, man. Thank you so much for leaving a comment. Your latest comment was, Connor ain't no saint either. He took personal, unnecessary shots at Habib, disrespecting his father and religion, so he can't get mad at Justin, if that makes sense. He was responding to us talking about how Justin Gaethje was taking all those personal attacks at Conor McGregor, calling him a shitty father and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And so the way Conor went at Habib was just, it crossed a lot of lines as well, too.
Yeah.
He went after his family, his faith. he took every avenue. So I totally agree with you, man. Absolutely. But again, that's why I think that fight sells with Justin Gaethje a little bit better than that Dustin fight. As much as I want to see Dustin fight him too, I'd like to see that rematch. It's an intriguing rematch, but I completely agree with that comment. For sure.
Absolutely. 100%. Thank you for leaving the comment, Tehran. I look forward to seeing your next one, my man, because I know it's coming. You've our top commenter. You got that little badge. Shout out to Ron Brown.
Absolutely.
It's that time, Mason. Another one. Another fantastic show. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, at the Church of MMA. Guys, if you aren't following us already, make sure you do it. Clips of the show, post some funny memes, hit us up.
Absolutely. And be sure to subscribe to that YouTube channel, guys. We'd love to hit 500 by the end of December. That'd be awesome. 500 subs by the end of the December. This is the Church of MMA. My name is Mason Knight. That is Tabor Cragen. And until next time.
Peace.